Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте, господа. Спасибо большое, что вы сюда пришли. Я хотела сказать несколько слов, но скажу я это на английском, чтобы не только мы могли это понять, но и люди, которые здесь собрались, и которые, несомненно, хотят узнать, почему мы здесь собрались. Поэтому я скажу это на английском.
Can you guys hear it? Raise your hands. No.
One, two, 3. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Может, что-то держать вам будет?
Здравствуйте, меня слышно? Ой, спасибо. Dear sisters and brothers, thank you for coming here today. I would like to start my speech with a quote by George Carlin. Did you ever think about the people we kill? There are always people who tell us to live in harmony and to try to love one another. Jesus, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, John Kennedy, John Lennon, they all said, try to live together peacefully. The list of honorable victims of tyrannical regimes can go on forever. And now it includes the name of wonderful, honest, and principled person, opposition leader Boris Nemtsov. We are all aware that Putin's regime is responsible for the assassination, and our loss will not be forgotten or forgiven. Today, once again, we stand here united by grief and righteous anger, and we are determined more than ever to fight Putin's dictatorship. People of Russia were going to come out today, the first day of spring, to demand changes, to call for government to stop the invasion of Ukraine, to free political prisoners, to uphold constitutions, to jail corrupt politicians. This is what Boris Nemtsov wanted to demand from Kremlin on behalf of all people. And we will continue this fight. Although we are overwhelmed by grief on this day, we will not stop fighting for truth. We will not succumb to fear. We will continue to seek changes to topple this evil and corrupt government of Putin. Let us all make every effort going forward to make sure that Boris' death, as well as death of many before him, was not in vain. Let us put up every effort to make sure no more deaths occur. We have the power, we, the people, and there are enough of us all over the world to make every positive change that has to be done in order for Russia to become a free, democratic country, to stop this ugly, conniving war in Ukraine, to free the political prisoners, to ensure that freedom of speech and human rights are at the forefront of whatever new government that steps in to replace Putin's dictatorship regime. Thank you for coming here. Together we stand. Thank you.
Добрый день. I will speak in English for better understanding me. My name is Anastasia Popova, and currently I'm working in Russian Parliament. I was forced to leave Russia a couple of months ago for political reasons. I spoke out when our boys were put in prisons after the protests of the 6th May, of the day of inauguration of Putin. I spoke out when my good friends were put in jail. The case of Leonid Razbozhaev, who was kidnapped from the very entrance of the United Nations when he asked for asylum. He's in prison now in Russia. I didn't keep silent when our president, so-called President Putin, started the war in Ukraine. And I can't keep silent when my friend Boris was killed by this regime. And I call you to speak, not to keep silent. I know what will be the next. Someone from the opposition will be accused in Boris' death. Very likely that regime will choose some outstanding figure like maybe Khodorkovsky. But I call you not to believe this, because this death is on Putin's hands. So please, don't keep silent. Thank you.
I hope this will be shown also in Russia, because I want everyone to pay attention that today Ukrainians and Russians are standing together here. And I'm really surprised that so many people in Russia hate heavenly hundreds of Ukraine, instead of paying respects to heavenly 20s of their own, starting with Vladislav Listyev and today ending with Ukraine, and who knows how many more people who are standing up against corruption, standing up for human rights, are being killed viciously in front of everyone, and everyone's still swallowing some kind of excuses. Accidental car, accident, rocket dropped on Dudaev and stuff like that. And when I'm asking myself, why am I here today? The first answer that popped in my head is fight for democracy, for civil rights. Yes, my aspirations stand up against Putin's totalitarian regime and the war in Ukraine. Yes, all of that. But today, the main reason I'm here is fear. Because I'm afraid that small percentage of Russian people, true patriots of their country, that are so small and isolated right now, will stop their fight. I'm afraid of that. It's easy to stick to majority of people in Russia. It's stick to be that mass zombified by Russian propaganda, thirsty for Ukrainian blood, and keep silent. And it takes tremendous courage and unbreakable belief in truth to be Yulia, to face the fear of being rejected, to lose friends, to lose family, to be offended every day, publicly and privately, probably threatened. And that's why I'm here, speaking in English, to everyone who can hear, that this has gone way beyond Russia, Ukraine. Come on, human rights and the right to live in a free, democratic, civil society has no colors of flag, has no territorial borders. We are here because together we want to fight, and we will keep this battle for a future against corruption, for a future with no corruption, with no horror tragic killings in the middle of Kiev or Moscow. I'm here to share the responsibility of Russian people to keep their fight. I'm here to support our common battle for a better future and peace for our countries. Thank you.
Hi guys, thank you for being here today. My name is Nick Bilogorsky. I'm one half Ukrainian, I'm one half Russian. How many people here are Russian? Raise your hands please and look at each other. How many people here are Ukrainian or from Ukraine?
Thanks for coming, guys.
And how many people are Americans? Okay, thank you all for being here. I think this is about maybe twice as much people as we had last time. And I wanted to point your attention today, not at Boris Nemtsov, who was tragically killed in Moscow, but at Nadezhda Savchenko, who is still alive, and she's on a hunger strike, and she's imprisoned in Russia for now. She's been on a hunger strike for over 80 days, and she's being killed by Putin. I want you guys to say it with me, that we demand the resignation of Putin. Putin must go. 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 Russia without Putin.
Russia without Putin.
Russia without Putin.
Russia without Putin.
Russia, stop the war.
Russia stop the war.
Russia, stop the war.
Russia stop the war.
Thank you guys. I wanted to remind you that we all can do something together. We're in America. We can call attention of our senators and congressmen and our president in America to help Ukraine in the struggle against Russia, to help put more pressure on Russian President Vladimir Putin, to apply more sanctions, to cut off Russia from SWIFT so they can't use credit cards, to supply military lethal aid to Ukraine so that Ukrainians can defend their country, and supply more pressure on Putin to release Nadezhda Savchenko. Thank you very much, and you can come and speak at the microphone. One, two, three.
Hi everyone. I would like to thank everyone for coming today. And I know that everyone knows that initially this march was initiated as a march of peace, march of hope, march of spring. But unfortunate and really tragic killing of Boris Nemtsov in Moscow has changed everything, and we are here. And I think that there are more of us than was initially planning to come. So I really want to thank everyone who did not plan to come but came because of this tragedy in Moscow. I don't want to speculate about who was the initiator of this killing, of this assassination. I think all of us understand that Nemtsov was killed by Putin's regime. Putin's regime killed free elections. Putin's regime killed freedom of speech. Then Putin's regime made it possible, to put free people into prisons just because they are not in agreement with the power, with the official Kremlin. And finally, we found ourselves having a leader of opposition killed in front of Kremlin in Moscow, in the heart of Russia. And I really, I feel this pain almost physically, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us share this feeling and this pain. And I really agree that all these bullets that were shot into Boris Nemtsov were shot into all of us. And I really hope that his death was not in vain. As one of the prominent Russian writers said, any death is a tragedy, but when this death is useless, it's a disaster. So let's not turn it into disaster, and let's be together. And I just see that a lot of people get united by hate, by anger, by aggression. I really want to ask all of you, please be together, but be united by love to our home country, by hope. I really want us to be, I don't want aggression, I don't want war, I don't want any anger anymore. Enough blood, enough death. And thanks again for coming, and just stay together in this difficult moment. Thank you.
Okay, so my name is and I'm one of the leaders of Ukrainian community here in San Francisco. I support Ukrainian army. I support Nadia Savchenko, and from a few days ago, I started to support and I started to know who is Boris Nemtsov. It's a person. It was last chance of Russia. It was really last chance of Russia to be independent from Putin and democratic country. I think so. But there's so many people in Russia who are right now will be under real big pressure of Putin, because Stalin time coming to Russia. It's really important to understand that it's not just a totalitarian regime. This guy is a KGB guy. Putin is KGB guy. He knows how Stalin works, and he thought that he was the best manager of Russia. And some people think so too. But it's horrible when people disappear, people assassinated on the streets. It's Stalin time. It's 19th of Russia coming to Russia again. It's terrible. And what we can do, what we here can do, Ukrainians, Russians, or other post-Soviet republics here, it's really important to tell our American friends, our Russian friends who believe that Putin is good for Russia, who believes that Soviet Union again will be a good idea. It's not. And I think that you think so too, because you are right now in America. That's why you left Russia in many cases. So it's really important to tell our American friends, tell our Russian friends who think that Russia is, Soviet Union to Russia is good. We need to tell them that it's not. And we need changes. We need Putin go out of Russia. I don't know, kill them, do something. And we can't do it by ourselves. We need to push Obama. We need to sign petitions. We need to send letters to congressmen and tell that Russia is dying under Putin. Putin should go. And it's really important for us, because when we are together, we are strong. And Ukrainian community proved it. That when we are together, when we are making protests, when we are coming, when we are taking our American friends and Russian friends and all other people who supporting democracy in Ukraine, in Russia, in Belarus, in Kazakhstan, all these countries are infected with a totalitarian Putin regime. It was infected, Ukraine was infected. Right now we have some improvement in this situation, but you know, it's still, we have a war, and Putin understands that if Maidan will start in Russia, it will be his end. And we need to start this Maidan to Putin go out of Russia. Thank you.
Let's say all together. Let's state our desire. Let's say freedom in Russia, peace in Ukraine.
Freedom in Russia.
Peace in Ukraine.
Freedom in Russia. Peace in Ukraine.
Freedom in Russia.
Peace in Ukraine. Freedom in Russia. Peace in Ukraine.
Putin's war is not Russia's war. Putin's war is not Russia's war. Putin's war is not Russia's war. Putin's war is not Russia's war.
Russians war.
No.
Thank you.
Freedom to all political prisoners in Russia. Freedom to all political prisoners in Russia. Freedom to all political prisoners in Russia. Freedom to all political prisoners in Russia.
Freedom.
Thank you.
Putin, stop propaganda. Putin, stop propaganda. Putin, stop propaganda.
Putin, stop propaganda.
Putin, resign. Putin, resign. Putin, resign.
Putin, resign.
Free Nadia Savchenko. Free Nadia Savchenko. Free Nadia Savchenko.
Free Nadia Savchenko. Free Nadia Savchenko. Free Nadia Savchenko.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Basically, I live in Kharkiv in Ukraine. I'm going back tomorrow and I'm here on a short visit. I just wanted to say that this situation is very difficult, and I think to know why it's so difficult, we need to understand the past. So we cannot understand the present if we don't understand the past. And the big problem is that in former Soviet Union, because of all the bloodshed that happens during Stalin's years mostly, people are used to other people dying. They do not value other people's lives as much as it would normally be, and they do not value their own lives as well. So really, if Putin says, like, go, people will go and die, many people in Russia, because they are brainwashed and they do not value their own lives. And it's a big problem because people here in the United States or in other parts of civilized world, they do value their lives. They don't want to die just for nothing. I mean, if they can avoid dying, they will do everything. It's normal. And unfortunately, after the Holodomor, and we know why Holocaust was conducted in Soviet Union differently than in the Western Europe. People were just killed on the spot because nobody would really care about it. They saw so many people dying before in Stalin's terror, in the Holodomor, they just wouldn't really be impressed. And that's a very hard thing. And Putin is a dictator, and President Obama, for example, he's a democratic president. He can do whatever he wants to do. He cannot sign a deal with Putin like by his own wish, because he will be destroyed politically by his opponents. They will blame him for playing with tyrant, and he cannot get the US to war because he cannot do it by himself. Putin can. Putin will say, let's go to war, and people will do that. So this is a very complex situation. I don't know. I thought about what can be done. I don't know what really is a way out. But I think that the more people stand together against it, the more is the chance that this will somehow be stopped. And thank you very much for coming here. Thank you.
Здравствуйте всем. Меня зовут Наталья, я originally из Санкт-Петербурга. Sorry, I will speak Russian because English is not easy for me. Мне кажется, что мы сюда пришли прежде всего, чтобы показать свое несогласие между войной России и Украиной. И мне кажется, убийство Немцова это тоже part of этой войны. Потому что это человек, который очень любил Украину, который боролся за мир в Украине и был нагло, цинично убит около Кремля. И мы сюда пришли, чтобы почтить память ему. Потому что это был искренний, добрый, бесстрашный, совершенно бесстрашный человек, который боролся за свободу Украины и России. И сейчас есть Савченко, которая также борется за свободу. И нам надо все сделать, чтобы она не погибла. Это будет так страшно, если она погибнет. Этот страшный режим Путина убивает всех и все. Мы, конечно, счастливые люди, что мы не живем там, и мне стыдно. Я извиняюсь перед Украиной за то, что моя бывшая страна напала на эту несчастную Украину, эту страну, которая хочет свободы, которая хочет мира, которая хочет быть свободной страной. Что мы можем сделать здесь? Мы можем выйти сюда и показать свое несогласие, хотя бы здесь сказать, что мы тоже переживаем за вас, те, кто остались, у многих родственники в России, в Украине, хотя бы не быть равнодушными, хотя бы понимать, что происходит, и не быть зомбированными телевидением советским, потому что у меня, например, очень много знакомых, друзей, кто не понимает, что происходит. Они не верят, что Россия воюет с Украиной. И нам надо хотя бы рассказывать, хотя бы открывать глаза им и говорить, что происходит. Давайте вместе почтим память Борису Немцову, и давайте вместе, минуты молчания, покажем, что мы тоже неравнодушны ко всему, что происходит в России. Спасибо, Борис, все, что ты сделал для нас, Господи. Мы тоже хотим чем-то помочь, тем, что сможем. Хотя бы своим несогласием, хотя бы тем, что мы выйдем сюда и покажем миру, что мы не согласны с этим режимом. Спасибо еще раз, что вы пришли сюда. Как-то хочется сказать даже тоже по-русски. Вы знаете, я долго думала, и я до сих пор понять не могу, как можно. Вот всего лишь год назад, чуть-чуть больше, и Украина, и Россия, и люди ездили и туда, и обратно, и разговаривали, и с теми были вместе, и все дружили. Как через год все вдруг стали бандеровцами для россиян? Эти 85%, которые говорят, как вообще возможно было такое? Люди, вы вообще, я обращаюсь к вам, не к вам здесь, а тем, кто еще думает, что такого нету, что войны не происходит, что в Украине все фашисты. Как вы можете так думать? Там ваши братья, там ваши сестры, там ваши корни, там... Вы туда ездили, вы спокойно ездили в Крым. Крым был намного ближе вам тогда, когда вы могли приехать туда спокойно, где вам улыбались, где вас ждали. Что вы сейчас найдете в Крыме? Зачем это нужно было делать? У меня не хватает слов, у меня не хватает чувств, чтобы передать, насколько эта трагедия
все в свои руки. Как может быть разница информации? Я разговариваю с людьми в Москве и с друзьями, они говорят, ну у нас же есть разное, у нас есть НТВ, у нас есть Первый канал. Это разное. Это принадлежит одному и тому же хозяину. Это две головы одного дракона, или 3, или 4. Вся независимые средства массовой информации, их нету больше. Их надо выискивать в интернете, их закрывают, на них нужно платить как за дождь. Уже ничего, нет возможности. Поэтому мы здесь вышли. Это не зря. Многие спрашивают, а что мы здесь можем сделать? А мы все можем сделать. Мы можем давать информацию, которую там нет, которую не дают. Я принципиально не ухожу с одноклассников из-за того, что мне нравится, когда меня обзывают и угрожают, и все. А потому что я верю, я нахожу людей, которым нужна эта информация. И ради тех людей я готова терпеть это все. Потому что им нужно знать правду. И если есть сомневающиеся, будут другие сомневающиеся. Нельзя сделать так, чтобы был вакуум там. Спасибо вам всем за то, что вы приходите. Спасибо за ваше гражданское чувство, за ответственность, за то, что вы здесь, за то, что вы боретесь тоже. Боретесь за правду. Боретесь за то, чтобы Россия все-таки очнулась.
Путин террорист.
Да, Путин террорист. Путин террорист.
Путин коммунист.
Да.
Путин убийца.
Да. Спасибо вам большое еще раз. Я хотела попросить вас, давайте сделаем большую фотографию, покажем нашу поддержку тем россиянам, которые сейчас в России. Окей? Спасибо большое. Давайте соберемся здесь, в центре.
Okay, guys, we're doing a group photo. We're doing it on the stairs. Photographers, please raise your hands. Photographers, Lesa, Viktor Polakov. Here's what I want you to do. Please turn around and face the stela. Everybody. Just turn around and place and look at that one.
Паузу можно уже.
And photographers, please